So I'm gonna go ahead and tell a story that I hold dear to my heart. It's gonna be about 1 year in November when the last time I went to the Standing Rock resistance camp out in North Dakota. It was a crazy time, you know. It was a crazy time when all of that was going on in North Dakota. For those of you who don't know what happened last year and what is still happening to this day, Energy Transfer Partners decided to build a oil pipeline through the Standing Rock Reservation, going through native land, and they were trying to build the pipeline under a river, under the Missouri River, which is a source of water for that whole nations of people. Being over here in Tampa and staying tuned to all the atrocities that was going on in North Dakota, where prayerful natives were standing in the front lines, resisting the construction sites and things like that, while private security guards will let dogs on the peaceful, prayerful resistance camps. They'll go ahead and pepper spray them, shoot them rubber bullets, and you're talking about like old elders going out there and being prayerful and just pleading the workers to stop and continuing that resistance that was on the front line. When I saw one of the videos that came back from Democracy Now, and I saw how the security guards were arresting people for just standing there, for chanting and whatnot, that made me get up out of my seat. That made me go ahead and take a flight out there and meet up with some folks and bring some supplies, firewood, things like that, and go ahead and go to the Ocheti Sakoan camp. When I got there, I really didn't know what to expect. All I knew that there was at that point about 5,000 people squatting in the camp next to the construction site. And what I saw the first time I went in there was something amazing, something beautiful. So many different nations of people, so many different colors, so many different ethnicities, nationalities, coming together in a community that was being sustained by themselves, by each other, all focused on the common ground of resisting the black snake, the pipeline, so it doesn't ruin the drinking water. Now, this issue gets a little bit more complicated, and it goes back to history, time and time again, when the natives keep getting fucked over by the U.S. government, and of course you see that in many other groups of folks here in the United States as well. And there's treaties that have been put in place since the beginning of the United States that have never been acknowledged or lived up to, and this is one of them. And this treaty for that land getting pushed out, going to court and things like that, and all the while, construction workers will continue working. And in order to stop the construction from happening, folks would sabotage equipment. Folks would chain themselves to the pipes, chain themselves to the equipment and whatnot, so workers won't go. When I was there, there was on the front lines, folks setting fires to the army cars and the vehicles, creating a barricade so construction workers won't be able to pass through. So I went to a few actions when I was out there, and it was pretty crazy in my experience. The police there, they had no mercy. They were looking to kill. They held their shotguns, their mace cans, their flashbang canisters very close. They had their fingers on the trigger, calling racial slurs to the natives and to the people of color there. It was something that I haven't really seen front line, but when I did, I already knew that it really confirmed to something that I already knew, that we are at war here in the United States. There's a war against indigenous people. There's a war against people of color. There's a war against people in low socioeconomic classes. And of course, we see it every day in the hood. We see it every day in our neighborhoods. We see it every day in schools and whatnot. But being out there in North Dakota, where there wasn't any media, where there wasn't any accountability, you know, that week that I was there, the police fired water out of the cannon in 25-degree weather to people. Flashbangs were pointed at people, point blank, blowing up limbs when I was out there, and none of this stuff gets ever reported or anything like that. But one thing I will say, being out there in the front lines, was that people were given life. People saw a meaning. People came together with a common value of love and compassion and sustainability. And I think we all have to come back to our roots and fight for what's right and fight be on the right side of justice when it comes to these issues. So do something, stand up.